She explained that she was between 13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be."
A bombshell moment erupted on the House floor when Congressman Dan Goldman held up what he called an unredacted Epstein file and declared it completely disputes everything Donald Trump has said about Jeffrey Epstein. Goldman accused the Trump administration of orchestrating a massive cover-up, claiming the Justice Department hid key evidence from the American public while showing different versions to Congress. Here's exactly what happened.
Mr. Speaker, I rise today to discuss this administration's massive cover-up of the Epstein files in order to conceal President Trump's involvement. This cover-up reached its apex last month when Attorney General Pam Bondi falsely testified under oath before the House Judiciary Committee. The Attorney General testified, quote, "There is no evidence that Donald Trump has committed a crime. Everyone knows that," unquote. This is a lie. In the 3 million or so documents that the DOJ has disclosed to Congress under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, there is credible evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. And that, of course, excludes the nearly 3 million pages that the DOJ is refusing to turn over. Donald Trump is mentioned thousands of times in the Epstein files. There are multiple allegations that he sexually assaulted young girls. But I want to focus on one victim's allegations that the FBI unquestionably found to be credible. The DOJ tried to hide reports of 3 of the 4 interviews that this victim gave to the FBI, but pressure from the media and Congress forced them to disclose them. And now we know why. She credibly accuses Donald Trump of sexually assaulting her when she was between 13 and 15. In each of her interviews, this victim recited the same account of her interaction with Donald Trump. On August 7th, 2019, she explained that she was between 13 and 15 when she was left alone with Donald Trump, who, quote, mentioned something to the effect of, "Let me teach you how little girls are supposed to be." Trump unzipped his pants and put her head down, quote, down to his penis, bit the S out of it. Trump struck the victim and said words to the effect of, "Get this little B the hell out of here." The victim advised that she bit Trump's penis because he disgusted her. She provided some additional details in the next interview 2 weeks later, and then a month later, she met again with the FBI and asked, quote, what the point would be of providing the information at this point in her life when there was a strong possibility nothing could be done about it. She didn't speak to the FBI again. But the FBI certainly found her story credible. In a 21-page PowerPoint presentation that the FBI made to prosecutors, they included this victim's testimony. They would not have done so if they did not find the evidence credible, which means that Attorney General Bondi lied when she stated under oath that there is no evidence that Donald Trump committed a crime. But we're just scratching the surface, because the Epstein files also reveal that Donald Trump has made false statements over the past quarter century about Jeffrey Epstein. We know in 2002 he called him a terrific guy and said, quote, "It is even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." In a birthday card, 2003, that Donald Trump gave to Jeffrey Epstein for his 50th birthday, Donald wrote for himself that we have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Enigmas never aged. Have you noticed that? A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday. And may every day be another wonderful secret. But in that same year, Palm Beach County opened an investigation into Epstein that eventually was turned over to the FBI. The investigation became public in 2006, and the Palm Beach County police chief received a call quickly after from Donald Trump, where Trump told him, "Thank goodness you're stopping him. Everyone has known he's been doing this." What innocent person calls the police chief about an investigation upon just learning about it? The recent documents also show that Jeffrey Epstein emailed Ghislaine Maxwell and said, quote, "I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Redacted victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned." Trump also denied that he ever went on Epstein's plane. But of course, the Southern District of New York said that he was on his plane 8 times, often with young women. The reason why this matters is because we don't have half of the Epstein files. And if the Attorney General is covering this up in such a degree that she is redacting things from Congress, that she then redacting things from the public that she then shows to Congress, what else is she covering up? And I would just show that this document here was redacted to the public, it was unredacted to Congress, and it completely disputes everything that Donald Trump has said about Jeffrey Epstein, about what he knew about the allegations, about his disgusting behavior, about whether he'd ever been to Jeffrey Epstein's house, saying, "I may have been there with my wife." Asked if any young girls were there. No. He may have had children of guests, but that's it. Well, we know that's not the case. Now, why is this important? Because if the Attorney General is covering up this information that she then reveals to Congress, what else is she covering up about Donald Trump's involvement in the Epstein files? I yield back.
Members are reminded to refrain, again, from engaging in...
From the Democratic perspective, this hearing fits into a broader concern about government accountability. Democrats have consistently argued that no president or public official should receive special treatment from the justice system. Goldman framed the issue as one of equal application of the law, insisting that transparency, not political loyalty, should guide the Justice Department's decisions. Republicans and the Trump administration, however, have consistently denied allegations of criminal wrongdoing by Trump related to Epstein and have rejected accusations of a cover-up. They argue that many claims circulating publicly remain unproven and that decisions about releasing investigative materials must also consider privacy rights, legal standards, and the protection of victims. That disagreement is exactly why this issue continues to dominate Washington. Whether Goldman's accusations ultimately lead to additional investigations or further document releases remains uncertain. But politically, his speech raises pressure on the Justice Department to explain why different versions of the Epstein records allegedly exist and whether any information has been withheld from the public without justification. As more files become public and congressional oversight continues, one question is likely to remain at the center of the debate. Is the Justice Department protecting sensitive investigations, or protecting powerful people? Only additional evidence, official disclosures, and future investigations can answer that question. Today's House floor speech became one of the most explosive moments yet in the continuing controversy surrounding the Jeffrey Epstein files. Congressman Dan Goldman didn't simply criticize the Trump administration, he accused it of deliberately concealing evidence that could change the public's understanding of Donald Trump's relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. Goldman centered his remarks on what he described as a transparency crisis inside the Department of Justice. His argument wasn't merely that information exists about Trump in the Epstein files, but that Congress and the public have been shown different versions of those records. Holding up what he said was an unredacted document available only to lawmakers, Goldman argued that the public version had been heavily censored in ways that benefited President Trump. He then made an even more serious allegation. Goldman pointed to FBI interview summaries involving an alleged victim who claimed Trump sexually assaulted her when she was between the ages of 13 and 15. According to Goldman, the FBI interviewed the woman multiple times over several weeks, and prosecutors included her testimony in an internal presentation because investigators considered her allegations credible enough to warrant further attention. Goldman's key argument was carefully framed. He did not claim that Trump had been convicted or formally charged. Instead, he argued that the existence of evidence contradicts Attorney General Pam Bondi's previous statement before Congress that there was no evidence Trump committed a crime. In Goldman's view, those are two very different claims. That distinction became the centerpiece of his criticism. According to Goldman, saying there is no evidence is not the same as saying prosecutors lacked enough evidence to bring criminal charges. Evidence can exist without resulting in an indictment, and Goldman argued that Bondi's testimony blurred that important legal difference. He also highlighted years of publicly known statements by Donald Trump about Jeffrey Epstein. Goldman reminded viewers that Trump once described Epstein as a terrific guy who liked women on the younger side. He referenced Trump's birthday message to Epstein and later statements in which Trump claimed to have distanced himself from Epstein. Goldman argued that newly released documents raise fresh questions about whether those explanations were accurate. Another major focus was transparency. Goldman repeatedly questioned why millions of pages remain unreleased and why some documents shown to Congress allegedly contain information removed from the copies available to the public. If lawmakers are seeing information that ordinary Americans cannot, Goldman argued, then public trust in the Justice Department is inevitably damaged. From the Democratic perspective, this hearing fits into a broader concern about government accountability. Democrats have consistently argued that no president or public official should receive special treatment from the justice system. Goldman framed the issue as one of equal application of the law, insisting that transparency, not political loyalty, should guide the Justice Department's decisions. Republicans and the Trump administration, however, have consistently denied allegations of criminal wrongdoing by Trump related to Epstein and have rejected accusations of a cover-up. They argue that many claims circulating publicly remain unproven and that decisions about releasing investigative materials must also consider privacy rights, legal standards, and the protection of victims. That disagreement is exactly why this issue continues to dominate Washington. Whether Goldman's accusations ultimately lead to additional investigations or further document releases remains uncertain. But politically, his speech raises pressure on the Justice Department. Is the Justice Department protecting sensitive investigations, or protecting powerful people? Only additional evidence, official disclosures, and future investigations can answer that question.